Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast, a 30-minute mini version of the In Wheel Time car show that airs live every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central.
Anywhere.
Streamed and downloaded in your car, bedrooms, and bathrooms around the globe. It's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, we're going to talk to DPS State Trooper Mr. Sergeant Steven Woodard about new laws now in effect and other things. Plus, we'll get you caught up on the stories making automotive news headlines this week. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We always need more, Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us today. Now, let's go to DPS headquarters and let's talk to Sergeant Steven Woodard. Hi-ho, Steve Areno.
Jeff, how do you deal with those three, man? What's the secret?
I drink a lot.
He drinks a lot. Yeah, well, there's that. Where are you? Are you at work?
Well, I'm at a exclusive location. Let's just say I'm available.
You're not down in Laredo, are you?
No, I'm not down in Laredo. No, there's nothing. I didn't lose nothing down there. Yeah.
Very good.
Hey, I have to tell you something, fellas. Brother Don did a real good job out there in the rural area of Texas when we were trying to capture that guy that conducted an egregious, just a horrible. And Don knows what I'm talking about. We appreciate the coverage, Don. Man, that was a horrible scene on the ground level, but I was listening to you from the bottom and through the news feeds. You did a wonderful job out there when we had that standoff. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. I appreciate that. I try
appreciate you doing what you do for us.
I try to be very cognizant of what you guys are up to and the stuff that you are up against, and I don't need to add to the pressure of trying to capture people and that sort of thing. And so, the television station relies on me to kind of use my best judgment. And, it's very easy, especially when you get into some sort of a standoff, to give away locations when you're up there at 1,500 feet. And I'm very well aware of that, and so I'm very cognizant of that, and love you guys, and want to do it the safe way to get the coverage, but also keep you guys protected as much as I can.
Yeah, I noticed that, and I'm gonna get to it, but I wanted to take this opportunity. So, fellas, not getting too much into it, because I called and asked if I could talk about it, and they said not much. But I will say this: so. The professionalism in Don, he understands how we roll, and he could have gave some information, but he didn't put out, exact, integral information, because he knew it was a tactical situation. And believe it or not, guys, that guy was watching the news as well. So a lot of times during those standoffs, they just hang out and they listen to the news to see if they can get some information on how they could, basically combat or get away. And man, you were spot on it. So let me get it. I love you, man. I'm gonna get away from the mushy stuff.
Okay. Well,
let me just clarify. If somebody doesn't know, Don is Channel 13, the local Houston ABC affiliate. Their eye in the sky. He is the helicopter reporter. So just in case you weren't aware, that's really what he's talking about is some of his duties. And a lot of people, I for one, get to where I want to talk to fill dead air. Don's smart enough and professional enough. He knows better than to do that with things like you're talking about.
And we're so glad that Don is professional on Channel 13, because here he's out of control.
That's right, yeah. Well,
I got nothing to say.
On 13, Don's in the air. Here he's full of air.
And all of it's hot.
Hey, so fellas, I'm going to tell you something. Last year, was pretty interesting when it came to crashes. We almost came close to the same exact number of fatalities, 4,000 plus in the state. Wow. I have a number, but I want to hold off on giving that number because there's still some crashes pending. As a matter of fact, there was a unfortunate crash in Beaumont, in the Beaumont area, if you will. And the very next day, which was the next year, the individual ended up passing. So that changed numbers. But I will tell you, and I've said this for years on this program, Driving is the most dangerous thing any one of us can do, and we just have to be careful. Let me bring something up to you. People always ask, if I'm involved in a vehicle crash, because in law enforcement, Don, we don't say accident, we say crash. And if I'm involved in a vehicle crash or a collision, what in the hell, what do I do? Well, first off, it's your responsibility, after making sure you're good, and if you can move, it's your responsibility to make sure that the other party that's involved is okay. Number two, take pictures, take pictures, take pictures. You would not believe how many times people call my office every Monday or Tuesday asking for information on their crash. If you go to the DPS website and you click in Ask a Trooper a Question, I'm one of those troopers for 8 counties. And people call all the time, every Monday and Tuesday, asking for information on their crash because they didn't get the ample amount of pictures or the information. Take pictures. We're going to take our pictures, but you need to take yours. Take pictures, take pictures. All law enforcement entities all over the state of Texas, all law enforcement entities understand that the individuals involved need to take pictures. So long gone the day of, hey, you need to stand over here and we need to conduct the investigation. No, they're going to allow you to take the pictures. Exchange information. That's so important. Make sure before you leave that unfortunate crash scene that you get the other party's information and that they get yours. Is it legal for you to move off the roadway when a crash happens? Yes, you can. So you get into an unfortunate crash on 610 or I-10 or whatever, and the vehicles are drivable, both parties are okay physically, we advise you to move that vehicle off of the road. Because I promise you, Brother Mars, I promise you, there's another crash about to happen involved with yours. So we advising folks to move off the road. That's going to be my theme for a couple of months. If you're involved in a crash, move off of the road. Technology, video, and all that other stuff is so prevalent here within the state and within the city. We don't need vehicles to stay on the scene until law enforcement gets there because it may take them a while. Fellas, I will tell you, one of the biggest problems that we have in our community is folks driving on the shoulder. You know, you can drive on the shoulder. There's 7 times that you're allowed to drive on the shoulder. Number one, of course, is if you're going to stop the vehicle and check for any malfunctions. Second one, of course, is if you're going to actually accelerate to make a right turn. And that's where the confusion comes in. People use that shoulder as their own lane, as their own travel lane, and they use the shoulder to avoid 20 cars to get to that light to make the right turn. Well, the state law tells us that you can use that lane to basically, de-accelerate to make the right turn. So as you're approaching that light, you say, okay, well, there it is. It's 3 cars ahead of me. Let me continue on and slow down to make the right turn. You got to be smart about that. I promise you, if a state trooper sees you driving on the lane, using that shoulder for your own lane, you're going to get stopped. That's just how it is. Of course, we use the shoulder to avoid a collision. If we're directed by the police, we can use the shoulder. We can use the shoulder, of course, to drive over if a vehicle that's traveling more faster than us in the rear. You got some guy being silly and he's driving aggressively and he's coming up on your rear. Guess what? You can drive on the shoulder to let that, get out of your way. But again, the shoulder's not our own lane. It's a lane, of course, for disabled vehicles, individuals that are stopped, that are adjusting the car seat for the baby, or whatever the case. We cannot use the shoulder as our own lane. What you're going to find out, Don, and they'll probably broadcast this a couple of times this year on air, the racing. I will tell you, the racing in Houston has decreased because of the new law change, and the individuals are aware of that. But you're probably going to see more task force throughout the year because individuals that are racing, not only do they cause danger to themselves, but those that are around them.
Let me just interrupt you and just say, where we're broadcasting from is not too far from Highway 90A, out here in Sugar Land. And it's a very nice area, a great big 3-4 lane road on Highway 98 going in both directions. And I will tell you that I can be in my bedroom at night and I can hear them racing on Highway 90A. And it just drives me absolutely insane. Open mufflers, I mean, motorcycles. There was a bunch of motorcycles here just a couple of weeks ago that came down Highway 90A, and I guess they got the green light from a stop and they let it rip all the way to the next light. And I'm wondering, would that be something that the Sugar Land police would take care of, or would DPS take that?
We'll take care of it. What I'll do is because Fort Bend is one of my counties, and we work with Sugar Land Police Department a lot. So what I'll do is, hey, Brother Morris, sound like we got a snitch in the house. What I'll do is, I'll advise my guys Monday morning. Once we get through the weekend, I'll advise them Monday morning, and I'll reach out to Sugar Land because, hey, we got to combat that stuff. Here's the deal, guys. If we don't slow those folks down, we're going to end up working a fatality. So that's just the bottom line. So
is it drag racing, or is it like top-end type racing?
It's drag racing.
It could be drag, or it could be acceleration test. Just an individual just having a blast. Which, hey, I look, guys, I get it. You know what I mean? But there's a place, and if you schedule it, a time to do that. And there's several areas where they'll allow you, with an nominal fee, to go on their track and take care of business.
Well, I will tell you that being a drag racing guy, we don't like to call that drag racing. We call it street racing is what it is. And however you want to look at it, it doesn't make any difference. And, hey, look, there was a time in my life when I was a teenager and really got into cars and that sort of stuff. We would go out on a road way out. There was nobody on it. Nobody. There were no streets coming into the road. It was at least a mile long. Now, we didn't race for a mile long.
In his Model T.
Yeah, my Model T. But there was nobody there.
Right.
And if you got to do something like that, pick your place, but don't do it on Highway 98.
We're like you, where we live. We're close enough to the highway. There's an overpass. And late at night, particularly on the weekend, and it's mainly motorcycles. You can tell by the way they sound. They come down. They come over that overpass. And they got a nice long stretch. Speed limit 75 anyway, and you can hear them wind up. And I mean, you can hear them all over town.
Yeah.
And they're already doing 60, 70, and then I don't know how fast.
I'm thinking
going.
It was probably somebody that got a car from the media pool, and they're doing a car review.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's what
I got a question for Conrad.
Yes, sir.
So let me ask you this, and we all talked about Teslas and these automated vehicles. I'm going to tell you something, boys. The new law book came out, and I'm actually teaching at the Houston Police. I teach the transportation code for the Houston Police Department for their academy. So if you want to know, all Houston police officers for the past 13 years had to go through me to learn about Texas laws when it comes to stopping vehicles. And I'm telling you, that automated vehicle section is thick. Let me ask you something real quick. Why does every time we get a crash dealing with a Tesla, my phone rings off the hook from the media? What is that? Do you think?
Because Tesla,
I don't know.
Tesla's, they've bragged about their self-driving system, and I think everybody's wondering, was the self-driving system engaged, and was that, I'm not going to say the cause of the crash, but was it an attributing factor to the crash? Because self-driving is a stupid name for a feature on a vehicle, because the car doesn't self-drive. You still have to be paying attention to it. But, the thought was the driver absolutely paying no attention, and the self-driving system got lost, and that's what caused the crash. And, that features on more than just Teslas. That features on a number of other cars. I think Ford calls it Blue Cruise.
Yeah.
General Motors calls it Super Cruise. They all have these automated driving features, which I think is a horrible thing to advertise. You look at the GMC truck one, and here they are clapping while the car's driving.
Yeah.
And the guy's got a trailer behind him, and he's using Super Cruise. Dumb advertising, but not the first time GM's done some dumb advertising.
And what people don't realize, when you see that, they're on a straight road on a bridge that's got plenty of marking on it for the systems to pick up on and never fail. They never show that when you're going around a curve or intersections because the system doesn't work.
But I think that's why the media calls you, is because they're trying to find out whether or not the automatic driving system was an attributing factor to it. The funny thing is Tesla knows. Tesla can tell you, they can download data out of the car. General Motors can download data out of the car because of OnStar, and they know whether or not the automatic driving system was engaged when that vehicle was involved in the impact.
Well, I tell you, I am a fan of technology, but we'll see where the future takes us. What I do know is, and I'll just put this out here. What I do know, last year on paper, as of now, we had 4,176, 4,176 folks die in vehicle crashes. And I'm going to tell you that's an astronomical number when you think about it. Driving is the most dangerous thing each and every last one of us will do every single day. It's very important. Number one, we need to be mindful, look to the left, look to the right, look around us. We get that. But one thing that a lot of us forget, we have to do those self-inspections on our vehicles, making sure that our tires are, of course. I stopped a guy coming from Austin the other day, and it was a truck, tractor, and trailer. I mean, the tires looked like the top of my head. I stopped a guy the other day. He had a load on the back of his vehicle that was the load was so heavy to where the tires were rubbing on the inner portion of the fender wells. I mean, we got to make sure that the vehicles that we're driving are safe to travel down the road.
Well,
Let's take this month.
I've got something to say about that. Now, during COVID and all the transportation issues that were going on, they were looking for truck drivers and support for transportation, for long hauls. They were looking to hire people because they didn't have enough. Who did they hire? Are they independents? Are they going through the proper training? Are these people that shouldn't be on the road to begin with that are using these vehicles? I'm feeling the pain there because I see it too.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you something, and I've said this live on air before. Where would we be without our truck drivers? But they have to be in compliance. I had a guy call me, oh man, this week has flown by. I had a guy call me Thursday, and he had an international CDL, an international commercial driver's license. And he wanted to go ahead and get that switched over to a Texas CDL. Can't do it, man. You got to go through our system. What I will say is, boys, we are very hard on our truck drivers, but we need them to be in compliance, because what I will tell you, and I just did a live shot for Channel 13 the other day, right there on I-10, had an HEB truck lose control, and next thing you know, the roadway is shut down for 6 hours. So it's a little different from a fender bender between two vehicles or three vehicles versus a truck, tractor, and trailer. It turns into a actual traffic logistical mess.
Yes.
So
a 4,000-pound car doesn't have the impact strength of an 80,000-pound fully loaded rig.
Yes, sir. Well, 3 ways we can reduce fatalities, fellas. Number one, of course, the enforcement. The boys and girls of law enforcement, we have to be out there stopping the cars, being visible, and meeting the people. Number two, we got to make sure we educate the people. And I thank In Will Time for allowing me through the years to come and help and educate our folks, of course, with the help of you guys. And 3, and something neither one of us have control over, and that's roadway engineering. TxDOT, they have to continue doing the great job that they do, putting up the barriers, trying to fill the potholes. I will tell you this, fellas, if it wasn't for that concrete barrier the other day, that 18-wheeler would have went right across I-10, and that would have been a different crash.
And I'll tell you what, Steve, I sure do see a lot more head-on crashes these days. I don't know what's up with that. Head-on crashes. It's terrible.
Yeah, we had one this morning, unfortunately, literally one this morning. So you got to pay attention, Brother Don, and that's just in our everyday lives. This is a good life that we live, and 2024 is going to be a good year. Fellas, I think it's going to be our year. I think we're going to get Don. See, Don, I put him in the category of great journalists like Larry King, Walter Cronkite.
I was thinking more like Don King.
Yeah.
Yeah, we go with the hot air crap again.
That's it. Steve, we love talking to you, brother. Thank you so much for joining us today. We wish you
Thank
a
you, my
great
brother.
day, and give your family our love, and I hope the boys are doing well.
I will. And while we're all here, can we put in a vote? Can we get Brother Mars a raise?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, they're going to
We'll
raise
double
me
what he
off his
makes.
chair in a minute. That's what they're going to do.
You said that like 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Steve, thanks again, man. We always enjoy talking to you. Take care of yourself.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you. Sergeant Steven Woodard, DPS State Trooper. And,
Always fun.
One of the best.
yeah, absolutely. I got some recalls to tell you about. Not just some, a lot.
Uh-oh.
Ford Motor Company recalling 112,965 F-150 trucks because of a potential issue with the rear axle hub bolt that could increase the risk of rolling away or crashing.
So how many times through the years have we done a recall on a Ford that wouldn't stay in park,
Rolling away.
rolling away and crashing?
Yep.
Dozens of them.
Yep. In July,
It's
Ford
the same
recalled
guy who rolled
870,000 F-150s because of an unexpected parking brake activation.
Well, there you go.
Here's more. A driver's airbag may become deactivated in all of the Ford F-Series for 23 model year.
Oops.
All of them.
You won't find that out until you need it.
Yep. BMW 430i cylinder head cover may crack and leak oil.
Yep.
You're aware of this. This is the
Valve cover gasket.
brand new
Valve
2024.
cover.
On which vehicle? Oh,
It says
BMW.
cylinder head
Oh,
cover,
BMW.
but same thing. Airbag may not deploy properly in the Toyota Corolla Cross. However many, they don't sell many of those, 2022 to 23. Lexus, what is an OCS sensor? OCS. Obsessive compulsive,
Sensor.
Occupant sensor, maybe it's part of the airbag system.
I don't know.
For the passenger side.
But lots of Lexuses and lots of Toyotas. I'm not going to go through it from 2020 to 2022 models. And I'll give you, look for the VIN on your car. It's probably in your wallet with your insurance card. And you plug that into safercar.gov. There's a blank there.
Yep.
And it'll tell you whether your car is being recalled or not.
Occupant classification system. So it tells you whether or not there's a passenger in the passenger seat.
High voltage battery modules may overheat on the Audi e-tron for 2019 through 2022.
Only once.
Only once. Door strikers may fracture on the Chevy Blazer, Equinox, and Terrain for 2024. That's another recall.
not
Here's
good.
another one. Roof rail airbag inflators may rupture on the Buick and the Chevrolet, the Verano and the Cruze for 2014. 10-year-old car. Land Rover, Range Rover Sport for 2023. The exterior vehicle lighting may fail. Also, improperly bonded body panels on the Land Rover, Range Rover. I think that's the same company that makes Jaguars. Oh, sorry. Did I say that?
I didn't say it this time.
Cross-member connection may loosen.
Though it was in my head.
Cross-member connection may loosen. Mercedes-Benz Sprinters, 1,500, 2,500, 3,500, 4,500 for the 2020 model year.
That's not good.
Missing frame member reinforcement fasteners. Again, the Sprinters, 19 through 22 model years. Partition wall may detach. Sprinters for the 2019 through 2023 model. Engine compartment fire. Thermal events. Kia Sorento for 2011. They're going way back in time.
Got nothing else to recall.
But remember, they scored well in Consumer Reports.
Yeah. Improper seal may allow oil and fuel to leak in the Mercedes-Benz GLC 300, 350, and 450, 23 and 24 model years. Sorry, I'm having a little...
Spit it up.
Everybody can hear that.
It's got a hairball.
I know.
As much as you thought you muted it.
Well, I did my microphone. Lucky everybody else. I think every Mercedes model year and brand model
Since day one.
since day one, 2021 through 2023, fuel pump shutdown may cause loss of drive power. You think?
Yep.
Yeah, that'll do it every time. So there's just too many of them to list there. Nissan Altima. Loose bolts may cause a loss of steering control for the 2024 Altima. Engine compartment fire from a short circuit. Hyundai Kona 2024.
Ooh.
Kona, there you
There
go,
you
Mars.
go.
There's your Kona review.
Kona review.
There you go.
Bring the hot dogs and s'mores.
That was a hot item there.
Lots of recalls, man. I mean,
It's the end of the year. You got to start get them all out of the way at the beginning of the year.
I guess. I'm not even going to do that. And so the airbag thing is all over again. ARC Automotive, and the airbag thing is going to be huge. They're looking at being 67 million vehicles.
Well,
The airbags are like COVID. It's here to stay.
Yep. Unfortunately, it's true. But I will say this, that airbags save lives.
absolutely,
That's
they
true.
do. Absolutely. They
So, there's a risk in everything.
do. Well, I've always said seatbelts save lives, airbags reduce injuries.
We're getting close to the end of this hour, but I did want to mention that the Ford Super Duty was named 2024 North American Truck of the Year.
I heard that.
While the Kia EV9 was named Utility Vehicle of the Year, and the Toyota Prius and Prius Prime hatchback took home Car of the Year honors in the North American Car, Truck, and Utility Vehicle
That one-
Awards.
So Jack wouldn't tell us all of that.
Well,
He had to wait
he
till it
already
was
knew.
released.
Jack
He
is
knew.
flying today, but he's going to join us next week, and we're going to talk
But
about it.
I don't get the Prius. I don't. I think there's better models out there, but
Well, you have
It
to
is what
take
it
the
is.
Prius for what it's worth.
For what it is.
For what
not
it is.
For what it's worth.
Well, no, I mean, it's
It does everything it says it's going to do, and it does a very good job of it. It has Toyota reliability.
is it
Like
something
the
that
guy-
I would buy? No.
no.
But it's like the guy from Consumer Reports says, Toyota has been doing that same drivetrain
Their same shtick.
synergy
Yeah.
for 20 years, and they do a damn good job of it.
I agree.
They
and actually,
practiced a lot.
and we've driven those cars, and they're comfortable and they're easy to use. I mean, if you're not into cars and you just have to commute from here to there,
If you're just after transportation, there's a lot of choices out there like
and
that.
that's a good one. All right.
But
Well,
I have fun.
Yeah. So that's it for this portion of the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. We've got more coming up. Stay with us here on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show.
You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The original group of Loopy Tortilla restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipes mean when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the original Loopy Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here's the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Loopy Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Speaking of original, nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Loopy Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Loopy Tortilla Katy is another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Loopy's. It's located just off I-10 and the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggieland? Head to the Loopy Tortilla in College Station, located just around the corner from Kyle Field. It's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Headed east to Louisiana, stop in at the Loopy Tortilla in Beaumont. It too's on I-10. You can't miss it. The original group of Loopy Tortilla restaurants invites you in for the best Tex-Mex anywhere. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeartRadio app, search for In Real Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Real Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/InRealTimeCarTalk. That's it for this podcast episode of the In Real Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InRealTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.